Captain Daeho Kim floated in the zero gravity of his command center, watching the alien probe drift past their hidden station. The probe was sleek and silver, about the size of a small car. It moved slowly through space, scanning everything with its strange blue lights. Daeho knew that inside the probe, alien computers were recording data about Earth and sending it back to their masters. The probe had no idea that humans were watching it. For 50 years, Earth had been playing a careful game of hide-and-seek with the galaxy. Every government on the planet worked together on this secret. They made sure the aliens only saw old technology, radio signals from the 1970s, rocket designs from the 1960s, nuclear weapons that looked primitive and weak. But the real truth was hidden in places like this station. The Hammer of Sol was built inside a hollowed-out asteroid, spinning slowly to create artificial gravity in some sections. From the outside, it looked like any other space rock. The aliens had scanned it dozens of times and never found anything interesting. Daeho pressed a button on his control panel. "Dr. Park, are you seeing this?" he asked into his microphone. Far below on Earth, in a secret facility buried under the ice of Antarctica, Dr. Yoon G. Park looked at her screens. She could see the same alien probe that Daeho was watching. "I see it," she replied. "Same type as the one we captured last month. Their technology is getting better, but not fast enough." Dr. Park was Earth's best expert on alien technology. She had spent 20 years taking apart alien machines and learning how they worked. Her laboratory was filled with strange devices that hummed and glowed with alien energy. But the most important work happened in the deeper levels of her facility, where human engineers were building weapons that no alien had ever imagined. The centerpiece of her work was the magnetic acceleration cannon. Most people called it a railgun. It was a simple idea made incredibly powerful. Take a piece of metal. Use powerful magnets to throw it really fast enough to punch through anything. The aliens had energy weapons that shot beams of light or plasma. They had shields that could stop those energy weapons. But they had never thought about simple metal moving at incredible speed. Their shields were useless against a tungsten rod traveling at 15% of light speed. "How many probes have passed through this week?" Daeho asked his crew. Lieutenant Yoon-sik answered from his monitoring station. 12, sir. All different types. The Galactic Council is getting curious about our solar system. The Galactic Council was what the aliens called their government. 12 different alien species worked together to control most of the galaxy. They thought they were the smartest, strongest beings in the universe. They had been wrong about that for a very long time. Daeho smiled as he thought about Commander Jaemin Lee, who was preparing the first human fleet to visit other star systems. Lee's ships were hidden in the outer parts of the solar system, where no alien probe had ever looked carefully. Each ship carried railgun weapons that could destroy anything the aliens had ever built. "Sir, we're getting a transmission from Earth Command," said Lieutenant Yoon-sik. "Put it through," Daeho replied. A hologram appeared in the center of the command room. It showed Admiral So-young Choi, the leader of Earth's secret space navy. She was a serious woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Captain Kim," Admiral Choi began, "we've intercepted more alien communications. They're talking about Earth again. The Council thinks we're still using chemical rockets and nuclear fission." Daeho laughed. "If they only knew about the fusion reactors powering this station, or the antimatter engines on our newest ships," Admiral Choi added. "Dr. Park, are you listening to this?" "Yes, Admiral." Dr. Park's voice came through the communication system. "I've been analyzing their latest probe designs. They're looking for specific technology signatures. As long as we keep broadcasting the fake signals, they'll never suspect what we're really capable of." The fake signals were an important part of Earth's strategy. Every day, human transmitters sent out radio waves that made it look like Earth was still developing primitive technology. The aliens intercepted these signals and believed them completely. They had no idea that humans had already mastered faster-than-light travel, antimatter power, and weapons that could crack planets. "What about the new shipyard near Jupiter?" Admiral Choi asked. Commander Tae-hyun Park answered from his hidden base in the asteroid belt. "Construction is ahead of schedule, Admiral. We'll have 50 rail-equipped destroyers ready within 6 months. The aliens won't see them coming until it's too late." The shipyard near Jupiter was one of humanity's greatest achievements. Built inside the Great Red Spot Storm, it was completely invisible to alien sensors. The storm's magnetic fields hid the energy signatures of human construction. Inside the hurricane winds, Human workers were building a fleet that would change the balance of power in the galaxy. Each ship in the fleet carried the same basic weapon, magnetic accelerators that could throw metal projectiles at incredible speeds. But the ships also had other surprises. Stealth technology borrowed from alien designs, shield generators that the aliens didn't know humans had developed, and most importantly, faster-than-light engines that could move human ships anywhere in the galaxy in days instead of years. Dr. Park, Admiral Choi continued, "How are the ground installations coming along?" "Very well," Dr. Park replied. "We have rail platforms hidden on Luna, Mars, and throughout the asteroid belt. Master Sergeant Hyunwoo Kim has trained teams to operate them. If anyone attacks Earth, they'll face defensive fire from every direction." Master Sergeant Kim was Earth's best weapons specialist. He had spent 10 years learning how to use human railgun technology in space combat. His teams could hit targets millions of kilometers away with perfect accuracy. The aliens had no idea that their every movement through the solar system was being tracked by hidden sensors and targeted by invisible weapons. The alien probe finished its scan and started moving toward the outer solar system. Soon it would jump to faster-than-light speed and carry its data back to the Galactic Council. The data would show them exactly what the humans wanted them to see: a primitive planet with chemical rockets and nuclear weapons. "Let it go," Admiral Choi ordered. "Let them think we're still throwing rocks and burning wood. The longer they believe that, the more time we have to prepare." Daeho watched the probe disappear into the darkness of space. Soon, very soon, the aliens would learn the truth about humanity. But by then, it would be too late for them to do anything about it. Earth's children were already walking among the stars, carrying thunder in their hands. The massive alien ship appeared at the edge of the solar system without warning. It was bigger than anything humans had ever seen, stretching for kilometers in every direction. Its dark metal hull was covered in weapon ports and shield generators. Strange lights pulsed along its surface like a giant heartbeat. Admiral So-Young Choi was eating breakfast in her quarters aboard the hidden command ship Thunder's Edge when the alarm started ringing. She dropped her coffee and ran to the bridge, still wearing her sleeping clothes. The main screen showed the alien vessel, and the numbers beside it made her stomach feel cold. "How big is that thing?" she asked her crew. 20 kilometers long, Admiral," replied Captain Yoon-ji Lee from her position at the scanner station. "It's got enough firepower to destroy Earth 10 times over. And Admiral, there are more ships coming." Admiral Choi watched as dozens of smaller alien vessels dropped out of faster-than-light travel. Each one was still larger than Earth's biggest battleships. They formed a perfect formation around the giant command ship, like sharks circling their prey. "They're broadcasting a message, Admiral," said Lieutenant Min-ho Park from his communication station. "It's in multiple languages, including Korean and English." "Put it on screen," Admiral Choi ordered. A creature appeared on the main display that looked like it was made of living metal. Its face had too many angles and its eyes glowed with red light. When it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding machinery. "Primitive beings of the third planet," the alien said. "I am General Korthval of the Sector Hegemony. Your species has been chosen to serve the galactic community. You will surrender immediately and prepare for relocation to mining colonies throughout our territory." Admiral Choi felt her hands turn into fists. 50 years of preparation had led to this moment. The aliens had finally decided to stop watching and start taking. "Your planet contains valuable resources that you are too primitive to use properly," General Korthval continued. "We will strip mine your world and relocate your population to facilities where you can be useful. You have 3 of your planetary rotations to submit completely. If you refuse, we will begin orbital bombardment of your major cities." The transmission ended, leaving the bridge of Thunder's Edge in complete silence. Admiral Choi looked at her crew and saw fear in their eyes. But she also saw something else: anger. "Lieutenant Park," she said calmly, "connect me to President Han. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a bunker that could survive nuclear war, President Ji-won Han was already waiting for the call. She had been watching the alien fleet through satellite feeds and knew exactly what was happening. "Admiral Choi," President Han said when the connection opened, "I assume you saw their generous offer." "Yes, Madam President." "What are your orders?" President Han smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "Tell them that Earth declines their invitation. And Admiral, it's time to show them who they're really dealing with." Admiral Choi felt excitement rush through her body. After 50 years of hiding, humanity was finally going to reveal its true strength. "Yes, Madam President." "Should I contact our fleet commanders?" Already done, President Han replied. Commander Lee's strike force is moving into position. The asteroid belt platforms are powering up, and Dr. Park has a special surprise waiting for our guests. Throughout the solar system, human forces that had been hidden for decades suddenly came alive. On Luna, Master Sergeant Hyunwoo Kim watched his rail platform emerge from beneath a fake mining station. The weapon was as long as a skyscraper and could throw tungsten rods at 20% of light speed. All stations report ready, Sergeant, said Corporal Ji-Hai Lee from her control booth. Good, Master Sergeant Kim replied. Let's see how tough these aliens really are. In the asteroid belt, Commander Taehyun Park's hidden fleet received their activation codes. 50 destroyers that had been disguised as asteroids suddenly powered up their engines and weapons. Each ship carried enough firepower to level a continent. All ships, this is Commander Park, he broadcast to his fleet. You know what to do. Hit them fast, hit them hard, and don't let any of them escape to tell their friends. But the most important piece of humanity's plan was happening on Earth itself. Dr. Yoonji Park stood in her underground laboratory, watching as her greatest creation came online. The planetary defense grid used technology that the aliens had never imagined possible. Dr. Park, her assistant called from across the room. The quantum entanglement communicators are ready. We can coordinate with every human force in real time. Dr. Park nodded. The aliens thought faster-than-light communication was impossible. They were about to learn how wrong they could be. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Minho Park was doing the most dangerous job of all. His stealth ship was drifting close to the alien fleet, recording everything their sensors could detect. The aliens had no idea he was there, watching and listening to their private communications. Admiral, he whispered into his radio, they're planning to start the bombardment early. General Korthval doesn't want to wait 3 days. He's ordering the attack to begin in 6 hours. Admiral Choi felt her jaw tighten. The aliens were not just conquerors. They were liars too. Lieutenant Park, get back to safe distance immediately, she ordered. All forces prepare for immediate engagement. The waiting is over. President Han's response to the alien ultimatum was broadcast on every frequency the aliens were monitoring. Her voice was calm and clear, with no fear at all. General Korthval of the Sector Hegemony, she began. The people of Earth have considered your generous offer. We respectfully decline. Furthermore, we suggest that you reconsider your position. You have entered our solar system without permission and threatened our people. This is an act of war. General Korthval's laughter came through the communication channels like the sound of metal being torn apart. Your primitive species cannot comprehend. The power of the Sector fleet, he replied. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Your chemical rockets and nuclear weapons are toys compared to our technology. President Han smiled again, and this time the smile reached her eyes. General, you seem to have some incorrect information about our capabilities. Let me correct that misunderstanding. Earth is not a primitive planet. We are not a weak species, and these are not chemical rockets. All across the solar system, human weapons that had been hidden for 50 years suddenly appeared on alien sensors. Rail platforms on every moon and asteroid, battleships emerging from fake debris fields, energy signatures that should not exist from a primitive civilization. General Korthval's confident expression changed to confusion, then to fear. Impossible, he whispered. Our intelligence report said you were still using combustion engines. Your intelligence reports, President Han replied, were exactly what we wanted you to believe. Welcome to the Sol system, General. We hope you enjoy your stay. It's going to be very brief. The countdown to humanity's revelation had begun, but it was not the countdown the aliens expected. The Sector fleet moved toward Earth like a pack of metal wolves. 200 alien warships spread across space in perfect formation, their energy shields glowing with deadly light. General Korthval stood on the bridge of his flagship World Render, watching the small blue planet grow larger on his screens. Begin the demonstration bombardment, he ordered his weapons officer. Destroy one of their major cities, something with lots of population. Make sure they understand what happens when they refuse our generosity. The weapons officer, a creature that looked like a giant insect, clicked its mandibles together. Yes, General. Targeting the Australian continent, plasma cannons charging to full power. But General Korthval had made the same mistake that aliens had been making about humans for 50 years. He thought he understood what he was dealing with. He was about to learn how wrong he could be. Captain Yoonji Lee floated in the command center of her railgun cruiser Electric Fury. Around her, dozens of similar ships waited in perfect silence. They had been hiding in the shadow of Jupiter's largest moon, invisible to alien sensors. Now they drifted through space like ghosts, moving into attack position. "All ships report ready, Captain," said her weapons officer, Lieutenant Dong-hyun Kim. Captain Lee looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was exactly where human computers had predicted they would be. 50 years of watching alien tactics had taught humanity exactly how these creatures thought and moved. "Synchronized fire in 30 seconds, she announced to her fleet. "Remember, we only get one surprise attack. Make every shot count." Throughout the solar system, other human forces were making final preparations. On Luna, Master Sergeant Hyunwoo Kim watched his massive rail platform rotate toward the alien fleet. The weapon was so large it had taken 10 years to build, hidden inside what looked like a mining operation. "Tungsten penetrators loaded and ready," reported Corporal Ji-Hai Lee. "Target locked on the alien flagship." "Good," Master Sergeant Kim replied. "Let's see if their shields can stop a telephone pole moving at 60,000 kilometers per second." In the asteroid belt, Commander Taehyun Park's hidden platforms came alive. What the aliens thought were mining stations suddenly revealed themselves as weapon emplacements. Rail launchers that had been disguised as ore processors began targeting the alien fleet. "All batteries report lock-on," announced Lieutenant Soo-Jin Park from her fire control station. "Firing solution confirmed on 47 enemy vessels." Commander Park smiled grimly. "Fire when ready. Show them what happens when you threaten Earth." The first human attack began exactly as Captain Lee's countdown reached 0. 50 railgun cruisers fired simultaneously, their magnetic accelerators hurling metal projectiles at 20% of light speed. The tungsten rods were each about the size of a baseball bat, but they carried more kinetic energy than nuclear bombs. General Korthval was still giving orders to begin the bombardment of Earth when his flagship simply ceased to exist. One moment the World Render was the pride of the Sector fleet, 20 kilometers of advanced alien technology. The next moment it was an expanding cloud of superheated plasma. The tungsten penetrator had hit the ship's main reactor at relativistic speeds. The energy release was visible from Mars. What just happened? General Korthval's second-in-command screamed into the communication channels. But there was no one left to answer him. The flagship and everyone aboard it had been vaporized in less than a microsecond. The rail platforms in the asteroid belt opened fire next. Streams of metal projectiles crossed the solar system like deadly lightning bolts. Each platform could fire 10 rounds per second, and there were dozens of platforms. The space between Earth and the alien fleet filled with tungsten death. Sector destroyers that had conquered 1,000 worlds found their energy shields useless against simple metal, moving at impossible speeds. The shields were designed to stop energy weapons, plasma beams and particle cannons and laser bursts. They had never been tested against solid matter traveling at significant fractions of light speed. "Shields are ineffective," screamed the captain of the destroyer Storm of Conquest as tungsten rods punched through his ship like it was made of paper. "The projectiles are moving too fast. Our defenses can't." His transmission ended when a rail-launched penetrator hit his ship's ammunition storage. The explosion could be seen from Earth with the naked eye. Lieutenant Colonel Nari Kim led the most dangerous part of the human attack. While the rail platforms destroyed alien ships from long range, her Marines had to board the vessels that were only damaged. This meant getting close to angry aliens with energy weapons, but human technology had advanced in other ways too. Lieutenant Colonel Kim's power armor was built from materials that the aliens had never seen before. Her rail rifle could punch through alien body armor like it was made of cloth. "Squad Alpha, we're boarding through the breach in Deck 7, she ordered her Marines as their assault shuttle attached to a crippled alien cruiser. "Remember, we need prisoners for intelligence, but don't take any unnecessary risks." The Marines moved through the alien ship like angels of death. Their rail rifles made no sound in the vacuum of space, but alien soldiers simply disappeared when the tungsten needles hit them. The aliens had energy shields for personal protection, but those shields were as useless as their ship shields. "Lieutenant Colonel," called Sergeant Woo-Jin Lee from down the corridor, "we've secured the command center. 5 alien officers captured alive." "Excellent," Lieutenant Colonel Kim replied. "Dr. Park will want to interrogate them." Back on Earth, Dr. Yoonji Park was coordinating the entire battle from her underground facility. Her quantum entanglement communicators allowed her to talk to every human force instantly, no matter how far away they were. This gave human forces a huge advantage over the aliens, who still used radio signals that took time to cross space. "Commander Park, redirect Platform 7 to target the fleeing cruisers," she ordered. "Captain Lee, move your ships to intercept the aliens trying to escape toward the outer system." Admiral So Young Choi watched the battle from her hidden command ship. The tactical display showed alien vessels disappearing one by one. What had started as a fleet of 200 ships was rapidly becoming a collection of expanding debris clouds. "Admiral," reported Captain Yoonji Lee from her cruiser, "enemy fleet strength down to 30% and falling. Most of the survivors are trying to retreat. Let some of them go," Admiral Choi ordered. "We need witnesses to tell the Galactic Council what happened here." The battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. When it was over, only 3 badly damaged alien ships remained intact enough to jump to faster-than-light speed. The rest of the Sector fleet had been reduced to metal vapor and expanding plasma clouds. General Korthval was dead, along with most of his officers. The few alien survivors who escaped would carry news of humanity's true capabilities back to the Galactic Council. They would tell stories of weapons that ignored shields, projectiles that moved at impossible speeds, and humans who fought like demons. Admiral Choi opened a communication channel to the fleeing alien ships. Her message was broadcast on all frequencies, making sure every surviving alien heard it clearly. "This is Admiral So Young Choi of the Earth Defense Forces," she announced. "You came to our solar system uninvited. You threatened our people and our planet. This is what happens when you underestimate humanity." She paused to let her words sink in. "Return to your Galactic Council. Tell them that Earth is not a primitive world. Tell them that humans are not a weak species. And tell them that if they want to discuss terms with us, they should make an appointment next time." The 3 surviving alien ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, carrying Admiral Choi's message back to their masters. Soon the entire galaxy would know that humanity was no longer hiding in the shadows. The age of human supremacy had begun with thunder and lightning, and the sound would echo across the stars for generations to come. The Galactic Council's emergency session was unlike anything in their 1,000-year history. Representatives from 12 different alien species gathered in the massive space station Unity's voice, floating in the neutral space between their home systems. The chamber was filled with creatures of every shape and size, crystalline beings that sang in harmonic frequencies, gas-form entities that lived in specialized containers, and insectoid warriors whose chitin armor clicked nervously. Council Speaker Vexmore, a towering crystalline being whose body reflected light in rainbow patterns, called the session to order. His voice resonated through the chamber like breaking glass. "We convene this emergency session to address the complete destruction of the Sector expedition to the Sol system," he announced. "The implications of this disaster require immediate discussion." The 3 surviving Sector officers stood in the center of the chamber, their metal bodies showing clear signs of damage from the human attack. Burns and dents covered their surfaces, and one of them was missing an arm. Their leader, Commander Jektar, had been General Korthval's second-in-command. "Tell the Council what you witnessed," Speaker Vexmore ordered. Commander Jektar's voice was barely a whisper. "The humans, they have weapons we never imagined, projectiles that move at significant fractions of light speed. Our shields were completely useless. Ships that had conquered entire star systems were destroyed in seconds." The chamber erupted in confused chatter. The gas-being representative, whose species had never lost a battle in 300 years, spoke first. "Impossible," it wheezed through its translation device. "Our intelligence clearly shows that the humans are primitive. Chemical rockets, nuclear fission, basic radio communications. How could they possibly have such weapons?" Commander Jektar played a recording from his ship's sensors. The holographic display showed the moment when the human attack began. 1 second, the massive Sector flagship world render was there. The next second, it was gone, simply vaporized by an impact that released more energy than a small star. "The recordings don't lie," Commander Jektar said. "Their weapons completely ignore our defensive technology. And they have ships we never detected, platforms we never saw, communications that work faster than light itself." That was when the impossible happened. A human figure materialized in the center of the council chamber, surrounded by a shimmering field of energy. She was a woman with short black hair and calm eyes, wearing a simple blue uniform with no visible weapons. The entire council chamber fell silent. Matter transmission technology was supposed to be impossible. Even the most advanced council species had never mastered it. Honorable members of the Galactic Council, the human said in perfect galactic standard, I am Ambassador Hyejin Choi, representing the sovereign nation of Earth. Thank you for this opportunity to address your assembly. Speaker Vexmore's crystalline body flashed with colors that indicated extreme shock. How are you here? Our security systems detected no ships approaching this station. Ambassador Choi smiled politely. We have been watching this meeting since it began. Earth has been observing the Galactic Council for quite some time. We know about your trade routes, your military bases, your population centers, and your defensive capabilities. As she spoke, alarms began ringing throughout the space station. The tactical displays around the council chamber suddenly showed new contacts. Human ships that had appeared out of nowhere, positioned throughout the council's most heavily defended systems. Impossible, shrieked the insectoid military advisor, a creature called Zixnith whose species controlled the council's largest fleet. Our sensors would have detected any ships entering our territory. Your sensors, Ambassador Choi replied calmly, were designed to detect the type of technology you understand. Human stealth systems work on different principles. She gestured to the tactical displays. Captain Youngsu Park's battleship Newton's Revenge is currently positioned 2 light minutes from your military headquarters at Nexus Prime. Master Sergeant Hyunwoo, Kim's rail platforms are targeting your primary shipyards, and Dr. Sungmin Lee's reconnaissance drones have been mapping your defenses for the past 6 months. The numbers on the displays were terrifying. Dozens of human vessels, each one carrying weapons that could destroy planets, had penetrated the Council's most secure systems without being detected. What do you want? Speaker Vexmore asked, his voice cracking like breaking crystal. Recognition, Ambassador Choi replied. Earth seeks formal acknowledgement as a sovereign interstellar nation. We want our territorial claims respected and our right to self-defense recognized. Zixnith's mandibles clicked frantically. Your species was classified as pre-contact primitive. You should not even have space travel. Your classification system, Ambassador Choi said, appears to have some flaws. Perhaps you should consider updating it. She activated a holographic projector that showed the solar system as it really was. Not the primitive backwater the Council believed it to be, but a fortress bristling with weapons, rail platforms on every major asteroid, hidden shipyards throughout the outer system, defense grids that could stop any invasion fleet. For 50 years, Earth has been broadcasting false signals to maintain the illusion of technological inferiority, Ambassador Choi explained. Every radio transmission, every energy signature, every piece of data your probes collected was carefully designed to support this deception. Dr. Yoonji Park's voice suddenly filled the chamber, transmitted from her facility on Earth. We have been reverse engineering your technology since before most of your species achieved faster-than-light travel. Human scientists have improved upon your designs in ways you never considered. The council members looked at each other with growing fear. Their entire understanding of galactic civilization had just been turned upside down. Your kinetic weapons, Zixnith said, his voice barely audible. They render our defensive technology obsolete. Our shields, our armor, our evasion systems, none of it works against projectiles at those velocities. Correct, Ambassador Choi confirmed. While you focused on energy weapons and defensive screens, humanity perfected the art of throwing rocks very, very fast. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. President Ji Won-han's image appeared beside Ambassador Choi, transmitted directly from Earth. The Galactic Council will formally recognize Earth as a sovereign nation, she announced. Any military action against human interests will be met with immediate and overwhelming force. She paused to let her words sink in. We are not asking to join your organization. We are not requesting membership in your club. We are informing you that there is a new power in the galaxy, and that power is humanity. The council chamber was silent except for the sound of alien breathing apparatus and the nervous clicking of chitin armor. Finally, Speaker Vexmore found his voice. The council recognizes the sovereign status of Earth and its territorial claims in the Sol system, he said, his words echoing through the chamber. But President Han wasn't finished. Furthermore, any species that wishes to transit through human-controlled space will require proper authorization. Trade agreements will be negotiated on terms favorable to Earth, and any act of aggression against human interests will result in swift retaliation. Admiral So Young, Choi's voice joined the conversation from her command ship. Human patrol fleets will begin operating in neutral space to ensure compliance with these agreements. We will also be establishing monitoring stations in strategic locations throughout the galaxy. The aliens realized they were not being offered a choice. They were being given orders by a species they had dismissed as primitive only hours before. The vote will be unanimous, Speaker Vexmore announced, though no vote had actually been called. Earth is recognized as a sovereign interstellar power with all rights and privileges therein. Ambassador Choi smiled. Thank you for your cooperation. Earth looks forward to productive relationships with all Council species. As suddenly as she had appeared, Ambassador Choi vanished, leaving behind only empty air and the smell of ozone. The Galactic Council members sat in stunned silence, realizing that their 1,000-year dominance of the galaxy had ended in a single day. Humanity had revealed itself not as subjects to be conquered, but as the new masters of interstellar space. For the first time in galactic history, the established powers had been forced to surrender without firing a shot. 6 months after the Battle of Sol, the galaxy had learned to recognize the quiet ships that moved through hyperspace without energy signatures. These vessels carried no identifying marks, made no aggressive moves, and never responded to communication attempts. But every spacefaring species knew what they were: human patrol ships, carrying weapons that could shatter worlds. Admiral Dae-ho Kim stood on the observation deck of humanity's newest construction, Hammer Station. The massive rail platform was the size of a small moon, built from asteroids and powered by fusion reactors that could light up star systems. Through the transparent aluminum viewport, he watched alien cargo ships deliver their monthly tribute payments. The tribute system had been President Han's idea. Rather than demanding submission like the old galactic powers, Earth simply requested cooperation fees from species that wanted to use human-protected trade routes. The fees were paid in rare metals, advanced technology, and detailed star charts of unexplored regions. "Admiral," called Captain Yoonji Lee from her position at the command console, "the Crystalline Syndicate shipment has arrived. They're delivering gravitational manipulators and quantum processors, as agreed." Admiral Kim nodded. The Crystalline Syndicate had been the first alien power to accept the new reality. Their species was ancient and wise, and they understood that cooperation with humanity was better than resistance. Other species had taken longer to reach the same conclusion. "Any word from the hegemony worlds?" Admiral Kim asked. "Complete compliance," Captain Lee replied. "General Minho Park's peacekeeping forces report no incidents. The former sectar territories are adapting well to human administration." General Minho Park commanded what Earth officially called the Galactic Peacekeeping Force. The name was somewhat ironic, considering that the Peacekeepers were essentially an occupation army, equipped with rail weapons and faster-than-light communications. But they did maintain peace, mostly because everyone was terrified of what would happen if they didn't. The former sectar territories had been the first test of human administration. After the destruction of their fleet, the surviving sectar colonies had expected brutal conquest and enslavement. Instead, they found themselves under the protection of human administrators who were surprisingly fair, as long as the rules were followed. Dr. Yoonji Park had established the Terran Institute for Applied Physics on Luna, and it had quickly become the most prestigious educational facility in the galaxy. Alien scientists competed desperately for admission, offering their species' most valuable knowledge in exchange for the chance to study human engineering principles. "Dr. Park," Admiral Kim said into his communication device, "how are our students progressing?" Dr. Park's voice came through clearly from her lunar facility. "Brilliantly," she replied. "The Zephyrian delegation has just mastered basic magnetic acceleration theory. The Void Dancers are working on understanding quantum entanglement communications, and the crystalline engineers are developing new alloys based on human metallurgy." The waiting list for the institute was 3 years long, and the application process was incredibly competitive. Alien governments sent their brightest minds to learn from human teachers, hoping to understand even a fraction of the technology that had revolutionized galactic civilization. But perhaps the most significant change was happening in the halls of power throughout the galaxy. Ambassador Heejin Choi had become the unofficial mediator for disputes between alien species. Her rail-equipped escort fleet provided a gentle reminder that her decisions were not suggestions. Ambassador Choi, Admiral Kim contacted her. How did the Nexus Prime negotiations conclude? Ambassador Choi responded from her diplomatic vessel, which was currently orbiting the capital world of the former Galactic Council. Very successfully, she said. The Insectoid Confederation and the Gasform Alliance have agreed to share the disputed mining rights in the Vega sector. Neither side wanted to explain to their people why they had started a war that humans would have to end. The threat of human intervention had become the galaxy's most effective peacekeeping tool. No one wanted to be the species that forced Earth to demonstrate its weapons again. The memory of the Sectar fleet's destruction was still fresh in every alien mind. President Ji-Wan Han ruled Earth from her new capital, a massive space station built at the Earth-Moon L4 point. The station was both a symbol of human power and a practical headquarters for governing humanity's expanding sphere of influence. Madam President, Admiral Kim reported during their daily briefing, the latest intelligence reports show continued compliance across all monitored sectors. No species are attempting to develop weapons that could threaten human forces. President Han smiled as she looked at the holographic display showing human positions throughout the galaxy. Green dots represented rail platforms, blue dots showed patrol fleets, and red dots marked the locations of human monitoring stations. The pattern covered most of known space. What about exploration of the Outer Rim territories? She asked. Commander Jae-Min Lee's deep space fleets have discovered 17 new star systems this month, Admiral Kim replied. 3 of them contain habitable worlds and 2 have intelligent life forms. All have been classified as human territory under the right of discovery. The right of discovery was another human innovation in galactic law. Since Earth had the fastest ships and the best exploration technology, human fleets usually reached new systems before anyone else. This gave Earth legal claim to vast regions of unexplored space. But humanity's greatest achievement was not military or political. It was educational. Professor Sojin Lee taught xenobiology at the University of New Geneva, located on a space station near Jupiter. Her students included representatives from dozens of alien species, all eager to learn how humans understood biology and evolution. Professor Lee, President Han contacted her. How is the cultural exchange program developing? Wonderfully, Professor Lee replied. We now have comprehensive databases of alien literature, music, art, and scientific knowledge. The cultural sharing has been the most positive aspect of our new relationships. Indeed, while human weapons had forced aliens to respect Earth's power, human culture was winning their admiration. Human music was becoming popular on worlds hundreds of light years away. Human literature was being translated into dozens of alien languages, and human scientific methods were revolutionizing research throughout the galaxy. Master Sergeant Hyunwoo Kim had been promoted to oversee all of Earth's defensive installations. His rail platforms now protected not just the Sol system, but human interests throughout the galaxy. The platforms were strategically positioned to defend trade routes, monitor neutral space, and provide rapid response to any potential threats. Sergeant Kim, Admiral Kim called him. Status report on the defensive grid? All systems green, Admiral, Master Sergeant Kim replied from his command center on Ceres. We now have over 300 rail platforms deployed across 47 star systems. Response time to any point in human space is under 6 hours. The defensive grid was humanity's insurance policy. No matter what happened in galactic politics, Earth would always be able to project power quickly and decisively. The platforms were automated and nearly impossible to detect, making them perfect sentries for human civilization. As Admiral Kim watched another alien cargo ship dock with Hammer Station, he reflected on how much had changed. 6 months ago, humanity had been hiding in the shadows, pretending to be primitive while secretly building the most powerful military force in galactic history. Now, Earth's children walked openly among the stars. Human ships patrolled trade routes that had once been controlled by alien powers. Human administrators governed territories that had been conquered by force and held by fear. And human teachers shared knowledge with species that had once dismissed them as primitive. The transformation had not been without challenges. Some alien species had attempted resistance only to discover that human patience had limits. A few mining colonies had tried to withhold their tribute payments and found themselves visited by Captain Young-Soo Park's battleship, Newton's Revenge. The visits were brief and educational, but for the most part the galaxy had adapted to the new reality with surprising speed. Alien traders had discovered that human-protected shipping lanes were safer and more efficient than anything the old council had provided. Alien colonies had found that human administrators were more fair and less corrupt than their previous rulers. And alien students had learned that human teachers were more interested in sharing knowledge than hoarding it. "Admiral," Captain Lee called from her station, "we're receiving a priority message from Earth Command." "Put it through," Admiral Kim ordered. President Han's image appeared on the main screen. "Admiral Kim, I wanted to personally thank you and your crew for everything you've accomplished. 6 months ago, we revealed humanity's true strength to the galaxy. Today we govern that galaxy with wisdom and justice." She paused, looking out at the stars visible through the station's viewport. "Our ancestors dreamed of walking among the stars," she continued. "They imagined meeting alien civilizations and learning from them. I don't think they ever imagined that we would be teaching them instead." Admiral Kim smiled. "Madam President, what are your orders for the Nexi?"